Thank you today for joining me to discuss Sage Intacct's accounting solution and software. My name is Kristen Schrump. I am the Sage Intacct channel manager here at Gray Gray. Below is my contact information if you have any questions after this webinar. Our agenda today, we're going to go over a quick introduction into Sage Intacct and look at the core financials, the advanced functionality, and the flexible platform that Sage Intacct offers. We're going to take a few minutes and spend some time in the Sage Intacct solution, and then we're going to look at a customer success story and why clients are choosing Sage Intacct. Sage Intacct is a cloud-based accounting solution. This cloud-based accounting solution offers core financials in accounts payable, accounts receivable, cash management, general ledger, order management, and purchasing. Beyond the core financials, it also offers the advanced functionality. So there are solutions for fixed assets, multi-entities, global consolidations, spend management, time and expense, project and grant tracking, vendor payment solutions, just to list a few. Sage Intacct offers a flexible platform. This platform allows you to use your best-in-class solutions and bring that information into Sage Intacct. Whatever your client, as a client, whatever you need will be able to be customized within the Sage Intacct solution. Sage Intacct offers a web service solution. It has an open API, which allows you to create mapping from one system into the general ledger of Sage Intacct. In addition, it has a Salesforce integration that both Sage Intacct and Salesforce support. Finally, to look at a best-in-class solutions, Sage Intacct offers a marketplace partner with over 100 marketplace partners that allow you to integrate data into Sage Intacct on a real-time basis. These integrations have been tested, and that information will flow into the Intacct environment, whether it's from an accounts payable solution, an accounts receivable solution, or maybe a manufacturing solution. Now we're going to jump in and spend a few minutes inside the Sage Intacct solution. Let's go over a few housekeeping things in my company, Cloud Alarm. Cloud Alarm is an alarm company based in the United States. It has 4 entities that they report on. You can see these 4 entities listed here in this drop-down. I'm able to work in this company at a top level where I can consolidate and access all information in all 4 entities. Or I can drop down and work out of one entity. Through permissions, I can provision my users to have access to all or maybe 1 or 2 of my entities. There are 3 ways to access data that I would like to show you in Sage Intacct. As the screen you're seeing now, this is the overview screen. The overview screen displays the workflow process within that module. In the middle of the screen, you can see how it shows you that your task from entering a bill, paying a bill, approving payments, and printing checks. And you're able to dive right into those environments within Sage Intacct. The next solution is the drop-down list here with all of our modules. If we come down to our accounts payable module, you can see where we're able to go into the activities within that module and also the setup information from that module. Within the activities of that module, this can be a little overwhelming from some users, so sometimes it's nice to either create favorites or to go bookmark your solutions that you're using on a daily basis. By starring these with gold stars, I'm able to create a customized list here under my favorites. If I go to accounts payable, I can now see the areas of accounts payable that I frequently use on a daily basis. The other solution that I just mentioned was bookmarks. Bookmarks are a great way to be able to access information at the drop of a dime. You can see here, I have several different bookmarks set up. I have order entry overview. I have customer call information. So in a great instance or a great example of where I would be using my bookmarks, in Cloud Alarm, we have customers that call in and may ask different questions. Our customers call into one direct number, but they may be clients or customers of any of our entities. Because I am a controller at this point in this environment, I have access to all 4 entities. So if I'm receiving a call from a customer, I can come straight over to my bookmark tab, click on customer call, and be in my order entry screen so that I'm able to be responsive to my customers and answer their questions directly. Now that we reviewed how you can enter information within Sage Intacct and access the different modules within Sage Intacct, let's go look at a dashboard. The dashboard is one of the key items to present to your individuals within your department or your stakeholders within the company. We're going to spend a few minutes looking at the dashboard and how configuring dashboards can help bring detailed information to your stakeholders at the company. As you can see here, I'm still operating in this multi-entity environment at the top level. At this top level, again, I have access to all 4 of my entities. All of the information within the reports provided here are across all 4 entities. Entities and locations are a dimension within Sage Intacct. Let's spend a few seconds in talking about dimensions. Dimensions can be thought of similar to what QuickBooks uses class as, or what your string of general ledger accounts is within other platforms. In Sage Intacct, there are dimensions that are out of the box. Sage Intacct consists of 11 standard dimensions. In addition to that, there are user-defined dimensions that you can also add into your environment. The standard dimensions allow you to come into your financial reporting or your key metrics and filter information by that dimension. In my environment on the screen that you're looking, I have added dimensions to my dashboard. I have a location dimension and I have a customer dimension. Some other dimensions, just to list a few, are departments, classes, projects, grants, and those can be customized to what you need as a client. So as we look at our overview dashboard, I'm able to go into my locations and I'm able to filter my dashboard down to a specific location or a specific entity. I'm going to go and operate within the Texas entity for a while. Now that I've filtered my dashboard by the Texas entity, you can see how some information has changed. But my dashboard still gives me the capability to drill down in all of the financial reports that I'm looking at for the Texas entity. I have my key performance indicators that are called performance cards that I can set up at the top of my dashboard. Along with bringing in other information from financial reports, custom reports, or charts and graphs that will report back to our stakeholders what is important to them to see. Let's take a minute and look at the net income performance card. If I click on this value on the net income performance card, I'm able to drill down to my net income statement, look at the information within the statement, and then I'm also able to drill down into my general ledger account and look at the transactions that are creating that number for office expense and rent. Here you can see I am looking at one bill that's posted to office expense and rent for location 10. Location 10 is my Texas entity. This is coming from a multi-entity environment, but it also is supporting a multi-journal environment. Multi-journal environments allow you to set up different journals based on the workflow that you're using within Sage Intacct. So in this transaction from accounts payable, I can click on the debit and go into that actual AP bill within the system. As we look at this general ledger bill that's in the system through the accounts payable module, I can scroll down and look at the details that are included in this bill. Since I was only reporting on the Texas entity, I'm only going to see the GL line from the Texas entity. But as you can see in our bill to Midtown Property Management, it actually was allocated amongst our 4 entities in the system. So I'm able to enter a bill at the top level and break it down between the locations within each environment. Looking at this one step further and taking another look at dimensions, which I previously entered, we're going to look at show details on line 1. Details on line 1, it's allowing me to come down here and look at the dimensions that are available to be classified within this dimension, within this line item. Quickly, with something called allocations that are available within this line item, I can take my $1,750 and I can evenly allocate this by location. So taking this line one step further, I can come down here and I can allocate one line and have this broken down for me rather than having to manually allocate an invoice. These allocations, they can be customized by a percentage of each location or each dimension that you choose to create an allocation with. They also can be set up by percentages. So you can see here by just tagging the dimension in line 1, it's broken down my 1750 by 437.50 for each location. So I have an even allocation set up for each of my locations. Since I allocated through my locations, the dimension field here for location has grayed out. But as we look below, you are able to see that that location is populated in this allocation. Amongst this allocation, you can see my other dimensions that are available within this environment. We have locations, departments, projects, customers and vendors, items, employees, and classes. Also a user-defined dimension that could be created specifically for the needs of your company. Let's go back to our dashboard. I've demonstrated how easily you can enter a bill within the system, how easily you can allocate a bill within the system, and how easily you're able to drill down from the dashboard and see the information within your financials. One of the benefits of Sage Intacct is the easy, flexible financial reporting that is available to your users in their environment. Let's take a look at this income statement. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to clear my filter so that I'm presenting you a financial report on a consolidated basis. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click this magnifying glass, which is going to bring this financial report for all of us to view. You can see that this financial report, this profit and loss, is shown to you by entities. Each column is a separate entity within our environment with roll-up figures for the year-to-date of October 31st. I'm able to drill down into all of these accounts and look at the information that is relevant to that entity, or I can drill down to the totals and look at the information that is relevant to this financial report. I've also created here some conditional highlighting. This conditional highlighting is giving you the opportunity to look at any transactions within each entity that may be at 0. This could, at the end of the month, give me awareness that somebody has not posted an entry before I close the books. This conditional highlighting can be set up based on several different conditions and several different configurations. Again, I wanted to demonstrate how easily that this financial report can be modified. Let's come out here to Cloud Alarm, and let's go look again at our financial statement by entity, and we're going to go in to edit this financial statement. Because I'm a controller, I do have the permissions to edit financial statements. I do have the permissions to make those changes as needed. All of this is set up through provisions of users within the environment or rule provisions that you can create for several of your users within your Sage Intacct environment. So in this environment, you can see that we're looking at the income statement by entity. We just reviewed the income statement by entity, and remember, we were able to see each entity in each column. Here, if we come back over to the rows, you can see there are account groups set up that make our financial report. I have a net income account group set up. If I have a requirement within the department that would like to see an additional information within their financial reports, I can easily customize this report by clicking on this button and adding an additional account group. Here I can go in and I could add assets to the bottom of my income statement and click OK. Let's preview what this looks like now that I added assets at the final line of our financial statement. Down below, you can see the top is our income statement by each entity, but now down below, we've actually broken across all of the assets that are available in the general ledger, and we've displayed those in a financial report. Adding that additional account group took 3 clicks to the financial report, so reports can easily be customizable. I'm going to go ahead and remove this and go back to our original state of our financial report. In columns, I'm able to take information a little bit further. So if I'm looking at information in columns, you can see here I'm able to customize my reporting period. I'm able to choose how I would like to expand my information by. In my environment, one of my key holders really would like to see information by items. Since items are set up in my environment, I can go ahead and I can select items and then click Set. Now I can go ahead and preview my environment or my financial report. As this may be a little bit more detailed than what we were just looking at from a consolidated entity report, now we're looking at our profit and loss by items. So you can see here that we're able to set up our item list here and review information from a financial report by easily adding a condition to the column value. Easily, I can go back here and I'm going to move this back to my entities. So we're looking at our original report that we just discussed. Coming down to filters are a few more things I easily can show you in the financial reports that any of your users will be capable of working with. Here is our filters. You can see that you can prompt filters. So filters can be selected on a real-time basis when running a financial report. That would give you the opportunity to run the same report, but have the ability to filter down that report to be very specific amongst the dimensions that you have set up in your environment. By prompting these during runtime, the system will ask you if you want to drill down or report at the top. I also can take these filters and I can select one specific filter so that I'm only seeing one area. Right now we look at locations and we're looking at all business units. I can easily modify this report just for a Texas financial report, and I can save this so it's a Texas saved as an income statement for Texas rather than by entity. Let's preview what this would look like. Great. Now we're looking at our profit and loss filtered by the entity for Texas, and these are our 2 locations that are rolling up to our Texas environment. I can run reports in different outputs. I can look at them in an HTML, which is drillable. I can also print them into a PDF, and I can also submit them to Excel so that I can view that information in several different ways. Let's cancel out of this report and let's go back into our Cloud Alarm dashboard. You can see here that we've reviewed our KPIs up top, or our financial performance cards up top, and how easily you can drill down into that information. How you can drill down to the AP level and look at that bill and make changes if needed. I also have demonstrated how easily we can look at financial reports and modify financial reports as an entry-level user. 2 more things I'd like to show you. One is the new feature that came out about 2 years ago, which is Collaborate Feed. Collaborate allows you to speak to other employees within your environment. So if you have Collaborate, you can tag a specific record, you can post a file of a different record, or link a snapshot of a different record. So if I was looking at a financial report, I can snapshot that financial report and send it to another user in my environment and ask them a question about a transaction. I can also comment on a financial report and let other users know within the environment where we're at for the month or what has contributed to those numbers within that financial report. The last area that users and clients utilize to get a better business perspective of their company is something called statistical accounts. Statistical accounts is information or financial information that can be calculated by a statistical quantity or number that is available maybe within another environment or something that is available outside of Sage Intacct. As you can see here, I've created sales by square foot. So from our alarm environment, I've calculated the sales square foot. I've calculated the square foot within each of our entities, and I have broken them down and entered them into the Sage Intacct environment. From there, I took my sales by square foot and I made a calculation into our financial report. I easily took that number from my statistical account, divided it into my sales, and I'm able to get a sales by square foot from all of my months within this financial report. I also added a timeline here so I can see how the trend line, how it looks over time. And remember, right now I'm looking at a consolidated statement. This statement can also be drilled down by each entity. So I can see what our consolidated sales by square foot is, but then I can also drill down on this financial report and see what it is individually between any of my entities to see how one is performing based on its size compared to others. Statistical accounts allow you to look at several different factors within your environment based on what your business needs are. Some ideas is bringing in the number of employees, the number of employees within a department, revenue by the number of employees that a specific entity has. You also can bring in information regarding number of billable hours, hours within the system. So you can do some financial reporting based on hours, number of employees, number of visitors, number of new customers. All of that information can be set up and customized based on what your needs are from a dashboard that's available within Sage Intacct. So thank you for sticking around and looking at this dashboard with me. Let's go back to our slides and let's look at our customer success story for MidCap. So MidCap has experienced a considerable amount of growth through strategic acquisitions and investments over the past few years. They're struggling, and it's unfeasible for them to grow, as right now they're managing 30 instances of QuickBooks. These 30 instances become overwhelming and stressful and time-consuming during closing and consolidation. They're contributing to manual workflows that aren't efficient for everyone within their environment. MidCap reviewed different solutions available within the marketplace for an accounting solution. When they met with Sage Intacct, they were able to visualize how easily they could support all of their instances and subsidiaries from one general ledger, and how they would be able to have immediate business insights across their platform. Easily, with a multi-entity environment, they could bring all of their entities into one environment. So consolidating financial reports would be one click rather than merging 30 Excel documents at the month end. Moving over to the Intacct platform, it has gave them the ability to scale with the changing multi-entity business. It has saved them over 16 hours a month on global consolidations. They have gained insights and trusted insights into their KPIs, that they are able to look at the information that is developing those financial results. Time and time again, we've tested the return on investment of Sage Intacct. Sage Intacct has paid for itself in less than 7 months for MidCap. A few of the items I want to share with you through this MidCap customer service is that as MidCap spent time looking and evaluating solutions, they were able to contact the AICPA through an executive of MidCap's mutual friend, and he asked the AICPA what they would provide, what they recommend as a solution. The AICPA, their number one solution and recommended solution is Sage Intacct. So they were able to get that insight from the AICPA, who are the individuals who wrote the rules and regulations of accounting. In addition, after they've moved to Sage Intacct, they were bringing on a new controller from a environment. So everything I showed you today has contributed to the demonstrated financial leadership that Sage Intacct can offer you. They are rated #1 in customer satisfaction, recognized over and over again for their innovation, and again, they are the preferred provider for the AICPA. Here you can see G2 Crowd, which is a company that reviews the different accounting solutions out there and responses from their users. We have the highest scores on satisfaction, product directions, and the Net Promoter Score. A Net Promoter Score, a client would then use Sage Intacct again. They would be willing to promote that to someone else that they knew. That says a lot for our Sage Intacct and our implementers for Sage Intacct. Looking at the technology, Sage Intacct has gave you a best-in-class integration. It is allowing you to bring all of your choices, all of your solutions into one environment and create a story from your general ledger using your dimensions. Just another reminder that Sage Intacct is the preferred provider by the AICPA. They reviewed several different environments. And the AICPA, they wrote the book on accounting. This says a lot for the Sage Intacct cloud environment that you've just reviewed. Now, how can Gray & Gray help you? We'd like you to request a meeting or reach out to us to discuss a better opportunity to see if this is a great solution for your company. We'll provide you one-on-one discussion that will result in a customized demo and share case studies with you of similar companies that have been through your transition to a cloud-based accounting system. If you partner with our expertise at Gray & Gray, you will work with our team. Our team will help identify the solutions that are needed. We'll create efficient workflows. We'll develop instances of Sage Intacct with your workflows. And we'll work alongside with you and support your team throughout the Sage Intacct life. Working with Gray & Gray is a partnership. We also have solutions and industry expertise that can be as a resource to our Sage Intacct implementation. Thank you for taking the time to discuss Sage Intacct with myself and Gray & Gray. I look forward to hearing from you soon.